This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and this is our continuing series of song deconstructions. We're going to be talking about the song Blinded by What You Don't Want to Believe, Greed, which goes into a recording technique that I call stream of consciousness recording, which is basically, running a tape and going up like a beat poet in your sensibilities and writing the song as improvisation. And, there is some prep work to it. You've got to kind of have it in your head, an idea or a thought or a concept. And then when you get to your instruments, you kind of take your capability, kind of like a jazz musician or a jam band rock player, and you create a mood. So you kind of get yourself into a zone where you're going to have a mood and you're going to have a topic. You've got the kind of concept in your head, and then you go and just freeform it. And I think a lot of people in hip hop and rap understand it. I think a lot of jazz musicians understand it. Rock musicians that do jams, like the Grateful Dead and Allman Brothers, any kind of blues guy can kind of get what I'm saying. But this is a technique I've been using to create effect for a long time. And a lot of times it creates the actual body of work that then I use to mine these recording sessions and then create other tracks. One of the things I used to kind of inspire this is the ability of the Make Noise Morphogene Eurorack module, which is a sampling module, to kind of reimagine original material. So I'll sample a Phantom Electric Ghost song. And for example, the song that we're talking about today samples the song Wanton Hex and then runs it like a reverse tape loop. I've actually had some issues where my publisher sometimes says, where did you get that sample from? And then I tell them, and it's actually my own song. And lately I've had some issues with my publisher actually not being able to figure out where the sample came from, because the Morphogene is so good at, creating a new sound from a sample. It radically changes it. They kind of recognize something in their software, but they can't pin it down as to what it is. And so then they're like asking, like, well, are this multiple samples and where are the licenses? And it's just interesting what you can do with that device. And I've used it a lot to kind of reinvigorate some old material and give me inspiration to create new material. And so that's the source of a lot of the tape loop like sounds of the song. And then I tend to just kind of freeform a thought. And so this particular song, it's the concept of, just not wondering, how life is, which is kind of general, but, it's just dealing with the concepts that you deal with in life, that like it's a struggle every day sometimes to understand what you really have is your mindset. So you say, what do you mean? Well, there are people that have ideology and they're kind of guided by that ideology, whether they got it themselves, they kind of are an alpha and they're kind of leading people with that ideology, or they're kind of a sheep type of person that's following another alpha. But a lot of times you're blinded in that ideology. You could have some truths in front of you and you will not believe the truth. If somebody says it's raining or it's not raining, if they are an alpha with a lot of pull, like a David Koresh or the Jamestown Massacre, the Reverend Jim Jones, they can get people, or Heaven's Gate, you can get people to follow you and do things that are totally illogical, totally against common sense. They tell you white is black and black is white, up is down and down is up, and you believe it because you don't want to deal with reality, because a lot of times, reality hurts. So a lot of people run away. They use religion, they use drugs, they use sex to run away from what they don't want to deal with, which is usually a deficiency in the self, where you've got an issue and then you're compensating for it with all kinds of things. What is better to do in life is take that issue dead on, realize what you really have as a problem, and be honest about it, and know that you've got to kind of wrap yourself in that weakness and then build it up so you can stand on two legs, knowing the full truth. And that's like looking in a mirror and knowing yourself. And a lot of what I do with Phantom Electric Ghost, I use the looking glass a lot. I use the idea of Stephanie or Josephine, and they're me. They're just another part of me. And they look in the looking glass and they don't like what they see, or they recognize what they see and they kind of run away from it, or they want to understand it, or they don't understand it. And a lot of songs are coming from the perspective of, are you really, self-aware, or are you trying to do something else? And, a lot of what I've done with my music is like I've taken on the fact that I can be pretty free with the female part of me and express it with Stephanie and Josephine, and be able to go places as a songwriter, talking about things like from a female perspective. When I write a love song, I can write a love song with Josephine singing it. And then that implying that, I'm trying to take on, female gender role and see how a woman would feel in that situation, rather than just being the guy trying to act like, all that. And it's like a romantic song, like a typical guy song is like they're oversexed and they're going to lead the woman somewhere and they're going to show them like the best time possible, or they're going to show them true love. And it's like an honor to love them or something. I'm talking a different perspective where I can talk about like, in a song, like, there's a lot of songs in my catalog where Josephine shows vulnerability, or she shows she's like the woman's been scorned, or the woman's been hurt, and then she takes it on and kind of goes, and explains what happened from her perspective. There's other songs where she's been the more of the aggressive type, and she doesn't care, and she's very flamboyant and very aggressive, similar to like the love idol, lead singer in romance songs. It's kind of like this, Romeo, Adonis character that's like, oh, it's so perfect and everybody wants them. Sometimes she can carry that off. And I do kind of go between all those ideas. But also this song talks about we're blinded, but we don't want to believe, and it's greed. Well, a lot of things, greed is avarice. It's like wanting money, but also greed's wanting power. So, you get blinded by trying to achieve power or trying to get somewhere. And you can do all these things to try to get that power over another person, where you could be like an alpha over another person, be a dominating over people. And people who tend to not have wealth try to do that. And people who have wealth also do that. But if you don't have wealth, then, the power you have is through your kind of psychology or sociology control of other people. If you don't have resources, then you use kind of like your personality, use your drive and your character to drive that, either in a positive or negative way. And so this song is addressing that through all the techniques I talked about. It's kind of just a stream of consciousness. I use a lot of vocal effects to kind of carry it off. And, this is just a general topic today of what I did there. I'm not going to go into the workflow. Everybody knows the stuff I use pretty much. You can listen to the other podcast about the different tools I use in my workflow. We are accepting fan donations, and it helps us with our other show where we interview artists. This week we will be interviewing Billboard Top 10 pop singer Kenda Erica on Wednesday. We'll publish it Wednesday night. This is the second time we've talked to her. We talked to her previously on Spearman. We're going to try to bring that conversation back after we talk to her. We'll get her approval to be able to bring that one back and republish it with the new interview. She's got new music out there on all the streaming services. And so we're going to be real happy to do that. And like I said, we are now fan subscriber supported. You can support us with $4.99 or $9.99. helps us continue this program. It puts us less on the road because we do Uber and Lyft as a job to pay for the gear. Helps us with our recording and different efforts. We're trying to link up with Trans Family Boston, and they're a collective of electronic music artists in Boston. We're going to be tentatively scheduling interviews with their core group in October. And so you'll be on the lookout for that. We're hoping to also be able to find a way to play shows with them. We would really love to do that. We haven't gone out this year. And so we're hoping, end of the year or going into 2019, we'll do some real shows other than what we do on Facebook. We are due for another Facebook Live show. We're not doing as many shows this year because we've been recording. We are also hoping that these funds will be used for product reviews and to get additional equipment for our sound. We are very interested in the Theravox, which is an awesome analog lead instrument. It uses a totally different concept based on the French instrument I forget the name of, but it actually has a keyboard with no keys, just indentations for keys in a metal format, and then it has a string that goes across it with a little key ring, and then modulation pedals and controls, and it's very much kind of like a pedal steel synth. And it's very interesting. It would be really cool to introduce that into my workflow. We're already very, very interested in analog solutions through sequencers and Fusebox. And also, as always, we're a big fan of Make Noise and everything they do. The gold, the black and gold system. We've got the Make Noise Morphogene sampler and their utility module, the great utility module they have. So we're looking into, getting a grandmother, which we think is one of the best since this year. We're also very interested in a Prophet X. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do going forward. And we're also looking for a co-host, as we indicated. So you can directly contact us through a voice memo to this Anchor podcast. You do Anchor, if you listen to us, you can favorite us and then get a voice memo connection. And if you're interested in doing a podcast where you get to talk to indie artists all over the world, if you're a big time music fan, very knowledgeable of all kinds of genres, if you're particularly, we're looking for somebody that's a musician, but a music fan that's really into music and understands music would be another choice. So we're looking for someone that wants to join us and interview people up to 4 times a month on the show with me. So please contact me, as I said, through the voice message system on Anchor, and then we can schedule a Skype or a further conversation. Thank you, and we'll keep on putting out music, and you keep on listening to every indie band you think is cool, and support them too, because music today, you got to realize it shouldn't really be free. You should support the bands you love, buy their merch, buy their record, buy their physical CD, buy everything you can from them and let them know you love them by sending them feedback on their social media. Thanks. Bye.